Take a guess what's going on. Just take a guess. Okay, you probably guessed right. I'm hooking up the trailer and I'm taking all the 34 parts to the powder coat shop. Later, guys. All right, that's that. Drop that stuff off for powder coat. I'm sure it's only gonna be whatever, a few days, and they'll call and say, all set, come get it. And then we can start assembly on the 34 chassis, which is really great. We have an engine that's been purchased for it. Hopefully we'll have that soon. And I just got the transmission back from the transmission shop. So that should be a rolling chassis here real soon, which is exciting. Other than that, I'm gonna clean up that transmission. It's back from being rebuilt, but the case and everything, the transmission shop they clean it and get it degrease it, but it's still scuzzy. So I'm gonna clean that up a bit and then paint the transmission case with Steel It. I am running over to Paul Miller's, which I'm here now, to Paul's not the house that's decorated, but I'm grabbing his 32.3 window. A couple little things that need to be addressed with it. Just one of the shock mounts is having some problems, so putting it in the trailer, we're gonna fix it. This is Paul's 32.3 window, original steel body. We built this car a few years ago, and it's just gorgeous. Every time I see this thing, it's like, I don't know, it's one of my favorites. So this is my friend Benny. I'm in John's 1960 MGA, just kind of taking it on its final test drive. Kind of went through the whole car mechanically and got everything where it needs to be. Cruising down the highway at 70 miles an hour, and it seems to be good. I just drove it around town. It's good at low speeds. It can sit and idle for 10 minutes and not load up or anything like that, take off. That's kind of something with these cars is, we're kind of having an issue with having the idle where you think you want it at 700 or 800 RPMs. What happens is after a while, at that low of an RPM, it'll tend to load up. So just raising the idle up to between 1,000 and 1,200 fixes that problem completely. So that's kind of cool. Right now I'm just doing a highway run, so I'm just driving on the highway for 10 or 15 minutes. And as long as we're good, temperatures are good, oil pressure's good, everything's good, I'm gonna give John a call and tell him he can come pick up his car. For Paul's shock mounts, I made these little, I don't know, sort of imitation F1 shock mounts. These are made out of just 3/4 inch solid round tubing, and I kind of cut it and drilled it, made a little piece, and then up here is just a washer, and then that's all weld here, and then I just metal finished it and ground it and made it all nice to kind of resemble what an F1 shock mount looks like. Then I mounted these to the frame rail here. Okay, the problem is I just used riv nuts like an idiot, and they worked fine. So I shouldn't say like an idiot, but they worked fine, and they worked well for a couple years, and then they loosened up at one point, and I think when they were loosened up, kind of this moved around a little bit, and then it kind of wrecked the threads in the nutserts. So with that, every time we would tighten them up, they would stay tight and then loosen up. And then it got to the point where, they weren't staying tight for Paul for any time. Paul would tighten them up, and then they would, get loose after 2 miles. So what we're doing is this is just like a little first rendition. So we drew this up or Oliver drew this shape up on in CAD, and then cut it out on the plasma table, which looks like that, and then bent it And the frame rail is actually not square. So it's a little bit tapered down in the front. So let me see if I can get this right. I think it goes, no, let me see here. Whatever. Yeah. Oh, I just had it backwards. I had it like this. So this kind of goes like this. And then what we're gonna do is drill one side bigger so it'll have like a piece of tubing in there. And then that way, when we tighten this up, it won't squeeze and pinch the frame rails together, because frame rails are really only like it's usually frame rails are like 14 gauge, which is about 1/8 of an inch thick. So it's pretty thin stuff. So like if you were just to like squeeze in the middle of this, it would squeeze the frame rail in. So having something that's gonna go through that we can tighten against it, it's not gonna squish. And then what we're probably gonna do is off of this, the shock mount's gonna mount to this. So this is just like a little reinforcement piece. These will be made out of stainless. These pieces actually are just currently mild steel, just to test the size of what we need to make. But we're gonna make them out of stainless, so these are gonna then be polished and it'll look like a little piece of jewelry on there. So anyways, that's what's going on. It's our little fix, kind of I don't wanna say it's a mistake, because it has worked well for a long time. The way to fix the problem and not make it look like an afterthought. So I don't know, I think that'll look good when it's polished up, and who knows, maybe we'll put some like old style buck rivets in there to make it look like it's riveted down, like, you know, original Ford frames were put together with these big buck rivets. So maybe we'll stick those in there and kind of make it look like it's riveted down or something. I'm not sure. We haven't got that far along yet, but this is the idea, and I think it's gonna look sick. So, and it's gonna be totally strong, and Paul shouldn't have any issues with his shock mounts. So quick little thing, and I shouldn't say it's a quick little thing, but it's, you know, it's something that we had to think about, and I think it's gonna look awesome. Guys, I just wanna show you how awesome it can look back here. Jack and Matt spent the last couple hours of the day here just cleaning up, bagging up the Karmann Ghia and the 50 Chevy cab, and we're gonna spend the next 2 weeks doing just body work on Max Hoover's 55 Chrysler wagon. All the metal work is done on that, so it's just a matter of seeing how far along we can get with 2 guys in 2 weeks just doing body work. It's a lot different than doing like collision. It's not this like, you know, couple hours and it's done. Like there's a lot that goes into the amount of body work that has to happen, and just block sanding so it's nice and flat. When we say body work, it's not like there's a big dent and we're just putting Bondo in it. It's more of, you know, blocking the car out and, you know, starting with a higher grit and going to a finer grit to get it ready for paint. So that's what's gonna go on for the next couple weeks back here, which is why these things are bagged up. That way, when we go to start on them again, we don't have to, you know, clean them out. These cars aren't gonna get covered in Bondo dust, you know what I mean? So looks awesome back here. I'm really excited. That transmission over there, just need to prep it, and then it's gonna get painted with Steel It. That's for the 34. Probably gonna do that over the weekend, but that's that. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. If you like the video, hit the like button. And if you're not subscribing, subscribe to the channel. See you guys tomorrow.